All right, hello. I have another very interesting live stream for you guys. This one is very special, and I've tested it and it works. Just so today we're talking about love and how we could use AI to improve our relationships. Boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, doesn't matter. This works for every single one of them. Let me actually make sure my audio is okay. You guys have my audio, right? Let me know in the chat. Okay, let me actually fantastic. All right, everything is working. Guys, this everything I try with AI, I also now I'm going to show you on the screen because I didn't used to do that. I keep using AI on figure out how to improve different areas of my life when it comes to health, wealth, and relationships, or health, wealth, and love, basically. And it works so perfectly, and I think most people just don't know how to really use the power of AI. And most of our videos before, live streams before, were focusing on wealth because I tried them, and they really produced me some amazing results. And I just wanted to come here and document them, and I to show anybody, or just for my own documentation regarding how I do it. So in case anybody sees this and they could use my techniques to improve themselves, they apply it because I've tested it and they work. And this is no different. So today I'm going to show you how I use ChatGPT, how I just started a project to see if it could help us with improving our relationship. And I show it on the screen with you guys, and I test it just so you could see it in action. I don't just come and talk about it because that's what I used to do. I go and tell you the philosophy behind what I do, the methods I have, and I just told you, hey, trust me, it works. But now you don't have to trust me because I show it to you on the screen so you could apply this yourself. Let me see. Tree of Knowledge is saying, in my opinion, an important subject is that love adds quality to us. Yes, yes, love does add. Yeah, I mean it's everything. So you're saying love adds quality to all aspects of life. True, true. I agree with that. You're saying all of these three things that we focus on this channel: health, wealth, and love. They they have synergy. Like improving in one area improves the others, right? Like if you have more wealth, you could take care of the people that you love more. If you are loved and love more people, then that actually has positive effects on your health, your mental health, and then therefore your physical health, and also puts you in a better mood for you to work and make a living. So it helps that as well. If you are healthy, you are more able to make more money and be wealthier, and also you could be there for the people you love. So all three of these have positive effects on each other. But anyways, let's go into how I exactly use this mechanism, use this tool, because it's very interesting and you're going to see it in effect. It's very powerful. So first of all, it's very important for you guys to understand that using ChatGPT right now, the chat area is absolutely useless compared to the projects area. It's very important for you guys to use the project area because the project area is where everything is at. Everything is at the project area. You're not going to be able to benefit much from ChatGPT unless you use the project area. Okay, hold on. Let me just do one thing. Let me see if I could. Okay, so tree of knowledge, by the way, do you use, hold on, let me share this here. Okay, hold on 1 second, let me make a shared post. All right, there we go. Okay, fantastic. So I do want to know later if you guys could tell me whether or not you use the projects area, because the chat area, it doesn't have as much power and as much features as the project area. This is where everything is at. This is where everything is at. Yeah, because here you could, in the projects area, you could actually get previously written instructions. And for example, you can see that I made many projects. I have a lot of projects that I'm working on. The chat area is where you basically just talk to ChatGPT and it gives you a response. That is really basic. If you're using ChatGPT in that way, you're behind other people. You are behind other people. That's not what you should be doing. This is what, I mean, you could sometimes, obviously. This is where you should be focusing 90% of your time. And you can see I use whenever you make a project, you could come up with a logo, an emoji for it, like with a different color to make it easy to find. And obviously, we're now in the love project, and I gave it a heart, a pink heart, which makes sense. But here at the top right, this is where the magic happens. Look, so the edit instructions area. So this is the edit profile, the edit name, the edit project. You give the name, and you could also pick what icon you want to use it. But this is where it happens. You put the project instructions here, and this is where the project becomes a lot more powerful than just a standard chat with ChatGPT. Because whatever you put in the instructions here, in this project, you can see I have had 3 chats with this project. Whenever you talk to this project, it will take into account the instructions that you gave it before it responds to you. That's key. That's what I want you guys to understand. Right? So you can see that I had one chat with ChatGPT over here. That the purpose of this one over here was to get ChatGPT to create the project instructions. Whenever I'm making a project instruction, I use ChatGPT itself to create the project instructions. And I will show you here. This is when I put the ChatGPT projects here in this Google Doc over here. You can see it in detail, everything I made. This is the detailed explanation of what the project instruction is, right? And that this text over here in this Google Doc is exactly what I have in the project instructions over here, right? I will make another live stream showing you how I come up with the project instructions, because let me be honest with you guys, I have not written a single line on this instruction here. Not a single line is written by me. Everything is created by ChatGPT. And at some point I will make a live stream showing you how I use the process in which I use ChatGPT to come up with the project instructions. So let's look at the project instruction. I will read it for you guys, but let me actually make sure that you guys understand what's happening here. So what I'm trying to do is not to, because it's easy. This show is not just about, oh, hey, use projects. I am actually going to show you a mechanism where I create projects that are self-correcting, that are constantly improving, and that loop, that feedback loop, is basically the power of the projects that I have compared to others. But I also want to show you, after I go over the project instructions, that I actually used it here. This is the latest chat I had with this project. Let's go to the very top. Right? So I used it, and I want to read to you the results. So how I use this project and what do I get. So this is some chat with my wife, and I posted this here, and then the ChatGPT will give me some feedback. So let's go look at the project instructions and see what this is about. So project instructions, love relation. So it's called love, this project. And here's the, in parentheses, relationship advisor for ARP. So let's look at the purpose and audience, and the role and tone, what the inputs look like, and then what the outputs looks like. These are the deliverables. And style and rules, I'm not going to go through all of them. I think halfway through you would understand what's going on here. So purpose and audience. Audience is Armin only, so this is only for me. The goal is give practical, ready-to-use words and micro actions that increase love, warmth, and harmony between Armin and his wife. That's the goal over here, right? The role and tone. And guys, by the way, the principles I'm using for this project, they would apply with any project. Any project will have the same impact. Okay. Role and tone. Role. The role that you pick is basically what you're telling you want ChatGPT to do. Role is relationship advisor plus message crafting coach. Those are the 2 roles that I'm giving ChatGPT. The tone to Armin, very informal, fast and direct, no disclaimers, no apologies, and get to the point. Tone for wife, facing the text. Basically, this is the tone that it needs to have for my wife. Casual, warm, an affectionate uh, default term of endearment, my love. So this is what I call my wife, unless Armin says otherwise. So let me actually tell you something that might be a red flag for some of you guys right now, is that this looks like I am just going to get messages from ChatGPT and give my wife. That's not what I'm doing here. The point is not to get ChatGPT to create a relationship between ChatGPT and your wife and then move yourself out of the picture. That's not what you're trying to do. The point is that read what ChatGPT, because ChatGPT is like a relationship advisor here, but it's not going to just give you what messages work. It also is going to basically explain to you why the messages work the way they do, right? Thank you. Streamline is saying fantastic. Your wife is so lucky. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. So let's see. Let's look at what the inputs are, and I will tell you how I made it so that you could see that I'm not just trying to copy and paste messages. You'll see here at some point in the deliverables that the reasoning, because I'm basically trying to get ChatGPT to work like a psychologist, like a therapist, like a life coach, like a relationship advisor. So for it to actually explain the context for me and give me maybe a angle of looking at things that I didn't consider before. That's what I'm trying to do here, right? So here, what the inputs look like. Armin may paste chat experts like Facebook messages, like copy and pasting Facebook messages, summaries and transcripts or of audio calls, summaries or transcript of audio calls, the context, what's going on, what he wants the outcome to be, and also it says do not assume access to platforms, only use what Armin provides. I don't know why it put it here. ChatGPT decided to put this in the instructions. I'm assuming it has a purpose, but I don't know what that is. This one is key. It says ask for missing context only when it clearly improves the output. Keep it short. And here's the deliverables. This is what ChatGPT will give back to me when I give it the input. And I will show you how this works in practice, right? So it says always lead with usable stuff first, then brief reasoning. This brief reasoning is the key thing here that I need to understand maybe things that I didn't consider before. So it says, number one, say this, 2 to 4 options, short copy paste ready lines or voice note scripts. And then 2, if she says X, you say Y. So basically, these are the format. But tiny gesture idea, optional, one quick action that matches her vibe. And then why it works, this is the key part. Why it works, one liner, brief reason rationale to Armin, so Armin learns. This Armin learns part is basically growing in a relationship rather than just copy and pasting messages. This is the key part, right? So I'm not going to read the rest of you, the style. These are all, I will show you how projects are made in the future. So you have to, you could do it yourself. But those are a lot of details that ChatGPT added to the project instructions. But that's, I'm not going to go through all of that. So let's go to our project love here. And you can see the first chat. Based on the instructions that again, look at this. So all of those instructions are here in the project instructions in the top right. So now let's see with those project instructions, when I go in and when I give these, so this is the beauty of projects. When I put some chat messages between me and my wife here, I don't need to give it instructions anymore because it already has all the instructions in the project instructions area. I don't need to give it any order. When I drop this input, it already knows what to do. So let's see what happens. When I drop this input, then it says, got it, Armin. I see your wife is really emotional and touched by your consistency in loving her. So this is based on the messages that I shared with it. So even when she feels she's not, okay, so let's read this again because it's important. I see your wife is really emotional and touched by your consistency in loving her, even when she feels she's not at her best. Okay. Ghulam Reza is here. Hi, Ghulam Reza in the chat. And then says she's questioning if she deserves that much love. Here's how you can respond to melt her heart even more. Say this. So it gives me 3 options. And I'll just read you option one because that's not the point. I mean, this is honestly a really good message, but I'm I try not to just copy and paste things. So it says, it gives me this option. So it says, my love, and this actually sounds very much like something I would say. It says, my love, my love, you deserve, yeah, so let's read it from scratch. My love, you deserve every bit of this love and more. You are my everything, and I'll never stop providing that to you. So there are two other options, and I think this was actually really something like something I would say, but that's not really the goal here. This is the goal. So also there's an if statements here, which let's ignore. This is the tiny gesture that it gave me. It says send her a short, unexpected voice note right now saying one of the lines above, but with a soft tone. She'll melt hearing the emotions in your voice. But this is the key part, why it works. Okay, so it says she's feeling unworthy. You flip it into reassurance plus appreciation. She feels secure, cherished, and special. So these why it works parts is basically gives me the encouragement and also the angle to look at these things so that next time I basically I don't need ChatGPT's help to craft messages. I just need to sometimes get some advice or some maybe encouragement that this is helping or this is the right direction to move. But here's the key part. This is actually where the magic happens. Okay. Well, a little bit further down. But you can see what I'm going to try, because this was the first time I used this project. This was the first time I used this project. And usually the first results is not really as good as I wanted. So I start criticizing it multiple times, and then I'll create a feedback loop. I make it circular in a I will make it an ever evolving project. And this is the key to all my successes right now, is using ChatGPT projects in a way that the projects continue improving on their own. And this is how I do it. So first I will tell it what was missing. I say, okay, I see what you're saying, but you also need to include some feedback on the messages I've sent based on the response I got from the messages, and tell me if I did good, right? So then it will tell me that, it will add that, but again, I'm not going to read all of that. It tells me that you did a good job. um so doesn't matter, we're not going to go through that, because I wish this was included already in the response and it wasn't. So I'm going to tell it that this should have been included. And I'm basically, the goal right now is to improve the project in a way that next time it includes all of these without me asking, but also next time it improves itself without me asking. So here's another criticism. I say you also need to include a new updated profile on her. I misspelled this here. It says herb. I mean, I didn't misspell here. I just opened usually when I talk to ChatGPT, I don't type these down. I just click this mic here and I just talk into it, and it just turns it into text, which is a lot faster. So I say you also need to include a new updated profile on her based on the messages that I keep sending you. This way, I wanted. I mean, I should have said you should have created a profile on me, on her, and the nature of our relationship. That's what I should have said here, because I wanted to, every time the project gets updated, it has section where it includes a better understanding of who I am, how I am, who she is, how she is, and how we bond with each other and the nature of our relationship. So that when that part of the project instruction constantly gets updated, the advice that I get next time will be of higher quality, right? So then it starts building a bio here. I'm not going to go through it. I'm not going to read it because that's not the point. The point is this part. The point is, because I want that bio to be reflected somewhere in the instruction. But I also, this is the absolute magic right here. This is what you need to take away from everything I'm saying. Okay. This is the key to all my success right now in almost everything. Right. It says, in our conversations, you also need to ask me, pay attention to this part, because this is the magic. In our conversations, you also need to then ask me every time whether I am ready to update the project instructions, the instructions for the project we are in. And if I say yes, then you first need to give me the project instructions as they are, and then ask me if I'm ready. Okay, why am I doing this? Because the way I used to do it was manual before. The way I used to do it before was when I got to the end of a conversation with ChatGPT inside a project, I would then copy the current instructions that I have right now and give it to it. And I said, this is the project instructions that we have right now. And I'm going to I want to improve it. The reason why I did that is because I was not sure if ChatGPT actually is paying attention to what the project instructions are exactly as they are. So I felt like I need to copy and paste it to it so that it recognizes that before I ask it to change it. But now I'm trying to make it more automatic. So here I'm saying, when I'm ready to update the project, first give me the project instructions. I do this so I can see that it recognizes what the project instructions are at the moment. That's the point of this. So when I say I want to update the project instructions, I don't want it to go ahead and update the project instructions. I want it to give me the current project instructions. And then it continues, and I continue. I say, and then if I say yes again, then you need to go change the project instructions and give me the new project instructions based on all the feedback that I gave you from the beginning of our conversation. Not just the last conversation that we had, from the very beginning till now. You need to take all the feedback into account and change the project instructions accordingly. Okay. So does two things. First of all, it updates the project instructions, what I'm doing right now, but it also puts the project instructions improvements inside the project instructions. So next time when I go through a conversation, I don't even need to ask. So first, it does two things. It adds these feedback that I gave it above into the project instruction, but it also adds the self-correcting loop into the project instruction, so that next time when I get to the end of the conversation, it asks me if I want to update the project instructions based on the feedback that I got, right? So let's see what it says here. It says, understood, Armin. I'll make that part of our workflow from now on. Here, so I don't need to actually read this. Here, I just need to read the last line. Here, it says, do you want me to ask you right now if you're ready to update the project instructions, or do you want me to keep going with just feedback messages and stuff? Okay, so I say, ask me. So when I say ask me, then it says, all right, Armin, are you ready to update the project instructions? And I say, yes. And then it says, perfect. Here are your current project instructions, the last full versions I have for this project. Please understand, here we're not updating the project instructions right now. Here, it's just giving me what we had before over here. So we could actually check that if it matches. So you can see that it perfectly matches. So basically, here I could be confident that, okay, so I understand the project instructions as they are now. Then it asks me, Armin, are you ready for me to update these instructions now? And then I say yes. And then, oh, by the way, here's a key part. Usually when I'm talking to it, it's on the instant model. But here, when I say yes, before I say yes, I switch it to the thinking model. That's why you see a thought for 43 seconds. It's very important that when we're updating a project, we switch from instant model to the thinking model, because this is our life here. We want to make sure that it gets it right. So this is the new version of the project. But before I copy and paste it into the Google Doc, at first I'm going to ask it, what did you change? Because then I noticed that it made some changes that I don't like. So either I could tell it here in ChatGPT the things that I don't like, or I could just go to my Google Doc, copy the old one that we have had before. You can see I have multiple tabs here. The old one will go to, like, we could just cut it and then put it in the old instructions area. And the reason why I want to keep the old one, is because if the new project instruction is not good, I want to go one step back to the old one. Well, I have stored the old one here so you can see the project is love. The Google Doc name is love, is the same as the name of the project instruction. And in the Google Doc, I have a tab for the old instructions, which I will put here. So I have that. So now the project instruction parts is empty, and I could go and copy the new project instructions that has been made for this love project. You could just go and copy it. And yeah, we could just come and paste it over here. So this is the new project instructions. And obviously there's some lines that I think it, for example, this line that it added here, It added it because it's confusing it from the global memory that it has from my live stream, and I don't like it. So I can either remove some of the parts that I don't like, or I could just go back into conversations with it regarding which parts I don't like. Either way. So I once I basically look at this new project instruction that I and I see that the new version is okay, I could just copy this and then come back to the chat GPT, go back to the main project area, and then edit the instruction and then paste it here. That would be the new project. And then from now on, every time we get to the end of the conversation, it automatically prompts me to improve the project. Right now, I'm not going to copy and paste it because I'm going to take a deeper look regarding how much I like this new project instruction to see if there's anything else I need to change before I paste it over. But yeah, this is it. This is a the way I turn a project into a self-correcting, always improving, always evolving um, making it a machine. It's basically I've created an AI machine that is constantly humming and constantly fixing itself and improving my love life. And we could improve our wealth and health and everything using this process. I do want to have a live stream that where I document in it how I start a project, because I think a lot of you don't know how to start a proper project. So where did I get the original instructions from? How did I create that? So maybe I need to create a new project and clarify that with you guys, right? Let me see in the chat. Saying how wonderful. Look at successful people like Armin, who values the relationship so much. Successful people should. Thank you. And you say about a relationship that has fallen apart and how can it be repaired? Can support also be given to people like me who haven't experienced a relationship for many years and are alone? Yes, of course. This could be this. What I just showed you basically is very flexible. So you just need to figure out how to start a project based on the goals that you have. And maybe that's what I would do. I will next stream. I will show you how to start a project. And again, this is basically this. What I'm showing you is a key that opens every single door, and it's basically better than having an army of a thousand advisors next to you, right? So this works with everything. And yeah, maybe I'll show you next time how to start a project. Okay. Thank you. So you're saying very practical and useful description. Yes. So let me know if it helps that I'm showing you my work on screen, because I think that would be a lot more that will help out. All right. So okay, guys, I'm gonna head out, and I appreciate you guys being here. And I will be here again same time tomorrow with another ChatGPT instructions regarding how to improve different areas of your life with ChatGPT. I'm gonna go back to focusing on wealth generation because that's what I'm focusing right now. I just wanted to do one health related one and one love related one, but yeah, so I will be back with more wealth related ones soon. Thank you. All right, guys. I'm gonna head out. Oh, thanks. Thank you as well. All right, guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. All right, bye.